may be seated. God, I come before you today, offering myself as a vessel, an instrument to be used by you. Anoint my heart, anoint my lips. Let the words I speak be the words that you've given to me to share with your people this day. Amen. From the Gospel of Mark today, we hear how Jesus began to find his crazy band of followers. If you go through all the research books and all the theological studies, I could stand up here and tell you what kind of net each fisherman used and what the net had to do with anything. Well, I think I would be boring. I think that would put me to sleep. But there are some things that we must know about these people. Who they were. First, they were just simple people. They didn't come from the schools or the colleges. They were not drawn from the ecclesiasticus or the aristocracy. They were neither the learned nor the wealthy. They were common fisher people. That is to say, they were just ordinary people. No one ever believed in the ordinary people as much as Jesus did. The second thing that we must think about is what were they doing when Jesus called them? They were doing their day's work, catching the fish, mending the nets. It is so with many a prophet. I am no prophet, said Amos, nor a prophet's son. I'm a herdsman, a dresser of the sycamore tree. And the Lord took me from following the flock, and the Lord said to me, go prophesy to my people Israel. The call of God can come to a person, not only in the house of God, not only in the secret and sacred space, but can come to you in the middle of a day's work. The person who lives in a world that is full of God can never escape God. And the third thing we have to notice is how Jesus called these people. Jesus' summons was simple. Follow me. It is not to be thought that on this particular day Jesus stood before them for the very first time. No doubt that these people had stood in a crowd and listened. No doubt that they had stayed to talk long after the rest of the crowd had drifted away. And no doubt that they had already felt the magic of Jesus' presence and the magnetism of his eyes. Jesus did not say to them, I have a great theological system which I would wish for you to investigate. Or, I have certain theories that I would like for you to think over. Jesus didn't say to them, I have an ethical system I would like to discuss with you. He simply said, follow me. The whole movement began with a personal reaction to Jesus. It all began with a tug on the heart, which begets the unshakable loyalty. The final thing we have to look at is what did Jesus have to offer them? He offered them a task. He called them not to ease, but he called them to service. Someone has said that every person needs is something in which they can invest their lives into. So Jesus called these people not to a comfortable ease and not to a lethargic inactivity. Jesus called them to task in which they would have to spend themselves and sometimes burn themselves up and in the end die for Jesus' sake and for the sake of their fellow people. Jesus called them to a task wherein they could win something for themselves only by giving their all to Jesus and to others. This is exactly what Jesus is doing with us today, as we hear the words each day, that we are willing to listen to that small, still voice of Jesus. Follow me. We're not asked to make a change in our careers or our lives, other than to see within each moment the possible chance for each of us to say to another person, follow me. I will lead you to a better place. You may be the person searching Google at the university library for a young person's mind to be expanded for their greater education. You may be the person sitting in a lab with a collection of acids and washes, making sure the things that we need are safe for our use. Perhaps you're a person sitting in a room helping a forgotten adult how to thrive and to grow in a world that may have not always been inviting for them and has always been challenging, changing lifestyles. You may be the old retired kook person sitting in the McDonald's having coffee or a Diet Coke and seeing someone that needs to just hear a word, hello. Letting them realize that they are not just a random and forgotten face in this sometimes cold world. Perhaps you're working to ensure the safety issues are present where you are. And if not, you promise to resolve those so that people can work in a comfortable, safe environment. Or maybe you're the nurse that's willing to listen beyond the sound of a heartbeat through the stethoscope and listen to the sound of the heart that says, I'm lonely, frightened, and I am not ready to be old yet. All of these things are what Jesus was looking for back then and is still looking for today and desperately needs. Jesus is saying to you this day, follow me. Then Jesus wants you to bring as many of your friends and your foes, yes, even the foes, to meet him. The great thing about being the fisher of souls for Jesus is that there is not an argument of who will clean the fish when you catch them. Jesus wants us to bring our abundant catch to him, and Jesus will take care of cleaning them. We do not have to deal with the mess or the smell. We don't have to deal with the cleanup. When we lived in Key West, every fishing pier had a huge cleaning station on it. And the wonderful prima donnas that would come in and charter a fishing boat would bring their catch out. They would not take the fish off the boat themselves. They would let the hired help get that smelly fish off that boat, and they would take it up on the dock, put it on the cleaning station and clean it and watch all the birds come and take all the pieces that were being thrown out. And then, I love this part, they'd put it in a baggie and put it on some ice, and they'd take it down to a restaurant and hand it over to a chef and say, this is what I want you to cook. Now that's a nice deal. Jesus is offering the same to us. We don't have to clean the smelly fish. We don't have to get into the dirt and the muck. We can and we will enjoy the fruits of our labors as we share in fellowship with all those that we have introduced to Jesus and have brought them into a relationship with a great one. I know a lot of you are thinking, what does that Nellie old queen know about fishing? I studied this week. It hurt. One Christmas season, a few years ago, one of our members lost her father. Roy and I went to the funeral. I found it odd, yet somewhat amusing, that lying crisscross on the casket were 2 fishing rods. As the minister began to speak the eulogy, he explained what an avid fisherman Dr. Horner was. The minister proclaimed that Dr. Horner was so good at teaching people how to fish that he could take a person out of the building to a dry, paved parking lot and teach them how to cast that rod to assure the catch of a feast. At that service was a small manual that Dr. Horner had written about how to fish. I reflected on that small brochure as I prepared for the sermon today. It tells me that the manual has already been written of how we should answer the call of, "Follow me, I will make you fishers of souls." The work's been done. All we have to do is bring the catch in. We don't have to clean them. We don't have to smell them. We don't have to get involved in their muck. We just turn them over. Just give it back. God will take care of cleaning them. Thank God we don't have to. Because if we had to, that would mean we would have to sit in judgment of what needs to be cleaned. What a gift. I don't want to have to judge that. If we each live our lives as good, centered people, then other people and other souls will want to follow us and find out what we know and how we learned the values that we have. Let us learn in whatever job or task we face each day, which we do. What we do is have an opportunity to cast our nets or our fishing poles and bring so many more people to the banquet table of the church and share in the feast which we have all been promised. It's a wonderful meal, a wonderful banquet. Don't forget to bring your friend with you. They might be hungry too. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of souls. Amen.
Amen.